Namaste, everyone. I guess we are live now. Okay, so good to go. Uh, Namaste, everyone. So today, the topic is about yoga is not a circus, and talking about common injuries, and also not doing the circus but following the alignment in order to avoid the injuries in the body. Because yoga is an internal practice and the rest is just a circus, and most of the people quote it like this, but I want to just get to the point that yoga means not just about twisting your body, not about standing on your head, not about holding your breath. Of course there are some sort of practice. All these things can be done as a technical part of yoga, but and also the most important for yoga is the alignment. Even any Yoga Sutras or Bhagavad Gita, most of the gurus or rishi or the writers or the authors, earlier texts mention that you have to like literally bring some sort of alignment in the body, not just doing a lot, but doing less, but moving consciously. So let's move on. Why yoga is more an internal practice rather than the circus? Because nowadays you are doing practice in your class or by your own, and also overstretching. Okay, that's like overstretching, and muscles and tendons can strain in order to like not in order to like this yoga related injuries, or not only yoga, in any workout. So the joints and muscles and tendons. Okay, so pay attention to these three: joints, muscles, and tendons. So these, because of overstretching or overdoing or pushing beyond, it can cause injury. And this is also based on the research, according to the orthopedic specialist. And any physical activity, we better do with the safest approach to learn how to practice properly. As I said, alignment. And in order to apply the alignment in yoga practice, it needs the universal principle method to follow. So find a good teacher who knows the alignment, or even know the movement like within the range. We call it range of motion. Short name is ROM. And remember these terms. I'm sure some of you all know the yoga teachers or yoga practitioners, also people in the field of physiotherapy or orthopedic specialists. So they literally understand this, the biomechanics of the movement of the body. But people, okay, I'm going to yoga, all right, I'm going to do this pose, I want to get it done right now, and they paid a lot of money for the workshop, or they look for like a great cool teachers and put them in poses. But remember, it doesn't get hold for too long. You need consistency. Sometimes you have to take things slowly, just like writing a letter. You, let's say you pick up a pen, you write slowly, you're not going to write too fast. The writing can be clumsy. The same thing with the muscles in the body too. So in order to avoid, you want to take things slowly. I understand you want to make a great post, you want to post on the social media, you want to get more likes and comment. That's not the point. Do not hurt yourself. Because you know why? Even in Yama 1, if I go to yoga philosophy, ahimsa is means literally do not hurt or do not harm, or like, not causing harm to anyone. First of all, in order to not causing anyone, please look at yourself first. What are you doing in your practice? Not only like words, thoughts, speech, also the body, right? Listen to your body. Of course, the mind always wants this and that, but most important, listen to your body. Once again, yoga is not a circus. It's about listening to your body and do what you can do and do it slowly. So let's move on to the related in yoga, most of the injuries. I've seen a lot of articles. I've followed a lot of people that I've sat with, and I have listened, and literally they have come to me with the, oh, VK, why when I'm doing this my things got like numb, or the joint, or when I'm doing the deep back bend, or the even a simple chaturanga, or even let's say headstand, like snap the neck or strain on the neck, the walls of the neck side. So this all are can cause due to imbalance in your, what do you call, the bones, because you're made of bones, muscles, and tendons, and also ligaments. And you can talk about even soft tissue. It's like the things goes on. What I'm trying to say that you pay attention not just the external but also internal. Once again, as I said, yoga is an internal practice. Is simply finding the balance and moment of calmness rather doing some hard stuff. Yes, you can, but remember, avoid the injuries. Do not yourself. So common yoga injuries, in how to avoid them, just kind of state a few points. And neck, putting too much your body weight on the neck when doing literally headstand. We interlace our fingers. Sorry, the mic. We bring it out here. We hug the elbows in, and we have to bring this some sort of like, we call it like a sort of a moon shape on the top of the crown. Bring the chin in, eyes. So when you're inverted, you literally like your profile is this. But most of them doing like this. And they said to me, "Oh my God, I can do the headstand." But no, you're actually sitting in a lot of strain in the C6 and 7. So which you can see this area. You can literally like this. And that weight, remember, you're like, let's say your body weight is like maybe even 50 kilo. Some are even like higher. Mostly in Asia, around China is like everybody lightweight. So yes, it's less, but still, your body is made of things, and then you have your own body constitution compared to the West, East, and in Europe, or even you go where other side of the world. So it's about the body mass. So do not put so much body weight on your neck when doing a headstand, and also the block, the halasana, legs over the is an inversion put, and also shoulder stand. Use blankets. I follow the alignment system from Iyengar and Anusara. So use blankets in order to avoid, and also use chair. If you have a good practice, for sure, you can go ahead with your classic practice. But these are the things that you need to pay attention. The neck for the inversion posture. And the second is the shoulders. The incorrect body alignment in headstand and shoulder stand poses too. So it also causes a strain in the shoulders. It's all connected. Remember, your body works integratedly, like not just individually, they work together. You can, of course, isolate the movements, but they all work together somehow. So where you're putting the weight and the other muscles takes. So this is all like what you call isometric and symmetric movements, like putting the weight down and up. There is a different way. So imagine a weight drop on your feet, and of course, you might scream. The same thing, weight drop on your inside bone or the muscles, they start to feel that. That's why when you hurt, you won't feel it. You'll feel the other day or 2, 3 days later. So you know what I mean? I'm sure we all of us somehow hurt. I mean, I hurt my shoulder because of the mountain biking. I hurt my this ligament over here because overusing or helping people to do the downward facing dog or paschimottanasana. Because teachers, we often have this because we're assisting a lot. So you have to take care of yourself also. I suggest everyone to go very often to physiotherapy, and also take like deep tissue massage can avoid these injuries for the teachers and the practitioners. Move consciously. Let's move on to the wrist handstands, or even a nakarasana, where you're doing a ashtanga intermediate sequence or even a vinyasa flow. Yeah. So be careful with the wrist. You have to have enough warm-ups. So, isolating the wrist, moving this and back and forth. I'm sure some of you all know this rotations and outward rotations, pronation, supination, and also leaning forward, making 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, forward, 12, 6, moving forward and back like the Pincha Mayurasana. So you need to have enough warm up for the wrist. And wrist injury is very high in yogic practice. So this is something that very delicate. So I suggest to take it slowly. Have enough warm up is always the best. When you feel like pain, take a rest, give it a time, don't rush for it. So these are like, I know I'm trying to sound like don't do that, don't do this, but it's just to be more aware, so that you're not end up in the circus, but you're more end up in the internal practice and listening to your body. That's the whole point in this video and the sharing. So let's move on to the back, the upward facing dog, or the cobra or kapottanasana, or deep back bends, like literally drop backwards coming up and up. You have to have enough strength on your gluteus maximus, hamstrings, and pressing the heel bones down as you roll the thighs in. These are like alignment cues. And lifting by scoop the tailbone up and firming the upper back, like sucking the back to the front and making the space for the abdomen. So you're not compressing the back. Somehow you are a little bit, but not too much. So doing the back bends is always need a counter pose, which is the standing forward fold. We call it Uttanasana. So you might do this, let's say, a few rounds of bending back and forward, releasing the shoulders by catching elbows in a the Uttanasana, or even Paschimottanasana, also bending the knees and doing. So remember, your spine is actually made of natural S curve. So these things like very deep study, most of the yoga practitioners and teachers, they literally have to do a little bit of study in the yoga anatomy, also a little bit of physio, so that you would understand the movements, not just putting people into the poses because they want to do it or you're selling that, but also safety first for yourself and for the practitioner. So for sure you can do, but I'm not saying you can't do it. You must see the method and follow the alignment. Let's move on to the knees. Like lotus posture and also Uttanasana, you're on the knees. I suggest everybody to do fold the mat a little bit. You use the blanket for your knees protection. If you have really severe injuries, do not do slight little bend, like especially the lotus posture. You need to have a lot of practice. We call it lympha in Cantonese. And preparing the hips, like Rajakottanasana, you're doing a lot of hip opening, and the knees literally can roll the mat, place it behind the back of the knees, and doing the rabbit pose, and to lean back and sit to release some sort of a, the patella, the movement where you have in the knee, to release a little bit, but not too much, because most of the time we're standing for so long, or sitting long, you don't have the strength. And the best is to train the quadriceps, which is here, which is on my like on the top of the thigh. We call it in Cantonese taipei. So you want to train that quads and the back of the thighs and the inner thighs. So why I'm saying this, strength is very important rather flexibility, because overstretching, you feel, oh my god, I can do this pose, I'm going to post this pose, wow, everybody has to see me that I can do this pose. But if you don't have a strength, if you don't have a balance, the overstretching or the stretching does not get hold. You have to have this strength, balance, endurance. Then your body can be more standard, and you can avoid all this. And also, let's talk about hamstrings a little bit. I heard literally people tear the hamstrings, literally pushing so much forward by the instructors, or even you're to the wall facing or doing on your own to get the perfect surgeon. So remember, the sagged or overstretched hamstrings doesn't have enough power, and when they move back, they kind of like, you know like sort of not even say chewing gum, they're like this. So you have to train the hamstrings. So let's say doing the lunge, like Virabhadrasana 2, or even standing asanas. You can train the eagle, Garudasana. All this can help you to literally, how do I say that? Literally train the legs. So it is very, very important for you to train the hamstrings. So let's just move to the from the top: neck, shoulders, wrist, back, knee, and hamstrings. So these are like literally, if you can train the major muscles, you're literally not going to have any injuries, or like or facing a trauma like previous injuries. So please take care and listen to your body. Now, I have come across like rise in yoga injuries, put spotlights on instructors. So remember, teachers, I know we want to make people do yoga. We want to make people love yoga. We want to make people understand yoga. We want to make people do yoga in every day, or hashtag yoga damn every day. I've seen several stuffs in social media. But the most important, where are you taking the practitioner, or where the teacher is looking at? Literally, are you looking at the postural physical side, or the internal, or the alignment, or what's your goal? Well, I'll leave this to you. I'm not going to say so much about it, because everybody reach yoga personally. So when practicing yoga, you have to pay attention to the specific areas. That's what I mean. Specific areas to pay attention, so that you're assisting and doing and also cueing and instructing. And before that, you have to literally practice on your own and see how it works. But I'm not saying it works for you, it works for other people. You have to see their body movements also, and where you have to literally ask before the class, do you have any injuries? If yes, please raise your hand and state, so that you should know your student, and rather, because they need your guidance. Sometimes people don't like to disclose. Maybe they might feel shy, or they might feel like a little bit of overwhelmed. So, you have to have this, cause and prevention. You need to know all this. As I said, when practicing yoga on your own as a teacher, also as a practitioner, you have to pay attention to specific areas. Let's say the major: neck, shoulder, wrist, back, knee, hamstrings. And that makes the yoga practice more safely. And to minimize your risk of injuries, avoid the getting into the deeper poses or go beyond, oh my God, I did my pose. And rather, you're seeking the external attention from the social media, but you're forgetting the authentic roots of yoga. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is to control the movement of the mind, or restrain, or say refrain, or to stay calm and find the balance. I'm not saying you cannot do the asanas, you can. So focus on breathing, find a trained and experienced yoga teacher who can be patient with yourself and also with himself to teach you, and adopt the poses that individual needs and abilities. Not like, okay, I post the thing, I'm going to teach this, all come. And you all went there, do the poses, and crack, crack, crack. Oh my God, it hurts. Yes, it does hurt. You might feel numb sometimes. You might not don't want to disclose because you want to feel good. You want to feel like self-confident when you do poses. Remember, do not compete, do not compare your progress with your any of the peers or the people or practitioners, even to others. So simply the point is, do not compare yourself. So prevention is very important. An easy way to prevent any injury is to keep within the ROM, or the range of motion. So, my dear yoga teachers, my dear practitioner, my dear students, and my dear everyone, remember, breathe into the entire length of the lungs, and then you exhale slowly, and then you move the body according to that. This is sort of a vinyasa practice you do in your Mysore, Ashtanga vinyasa, any sort of a hatha yoga, anything you name it. And not just go blindly into the movement, but you ignore the breath. So that can cause a lack of flexibility, because you kind of like, you hold the breath, it's like going to be explode. You have to like let the breath rock the body, and it rocks your movement. So remember the movement of the body, right? So many, they're out there. I've seen these days a lot of flow. I do this, I do that. And it's like, I'm going to do this. Okay, come, come, come. But you literally have to pay attention to this yourself. Once again, yoga is not a circus, it is an internal practice. Then then the rest is a circus. I hope this videos gives you some sort of understanding, and understanding yourself to move consciously. And the final point is that alignment. The whole video is talking about the alignment, range of motion, specifying the different areas of your movement. So remember, yoga is about the alignment. In alignment yoga, we make sure joints are positioned correctly. As I mentioned earlier, there are universal principles that you can add. Find a teacher that could teach you these methods and correct you accordingly, so that you don't injure yourself. And also, teachers, when you're assisting, please take care of yourself. Also, your bodily position also important. Doing over anything overdoing for teacher or students, it does not going to get hold for a long time, because it causes a future injury. So the whole point is simply, you work with alignment within the range of motion, and make sure properly aligned, so that you can work on your concentration of the movement. And also, yoga is about mindfulness, right? Being mindful, not just doing the meditation, also doing the asana. The whole game is that after the class or after the workshop, after even a teacher training, you feel literally relaxed and understood the true meaning of yoga based on the yoga philosophy, based on the yoga anatomy, and based on the yoga sequence, what you can do and what you cannot do. And simply, yoga means liberate the mind and body. That's what the whole, what it's like, why it matters so much for me. Yoga is simply liberate the body and mind. Okay, people, I'm not going to say so much. I think that explains a little bit well. So, once again, bring clarity, bring steadiness, bring balance. So, these are the 3 points in the our talk, so that body is more arranged, and that includes, like, creating lines and stacking bones, and then it can be much more, what do you call, the movementable, in a process that where you move consciously instead of like rigidity or the structure, but like not making the structure correct, but making the perfect angle, so that you're creating that picture perfect shape as your body. So please listen to your body. It's very important. If you need any questions, if you have any questions, if you have any further thing to share or something, please inbox me, or anything, anytime. You can write me in the comment section. I can get back to you. So please go functional. Go. So I have to say, go functional is the most important. And honor your body and to the be respectful of its limitations, so that you will back off, if you feel pain, you feel ready, move to the next level. Do it slowly and mindfully, and this is where the most growth takes place. Thank you, and namaste, everyone. Bye for now.